Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to the final round. It is Wiz Motorsport Super League Season 3, round number 6. It's the Nurburgring, 17 drivers so far out in qualifying, as you can see. And the tables so far mean it is interesting reading up at the top. After a couple of server disconnects last week, Roberto Ricci found himself in 14th. That will, of course, become his drop round. But it does mean he's only 3 points ahead of Evan Cairns. Going to be a cracker tonight. Nigel O'Brien in third place. Pretty much got that one sewed up. It's going to take a big swing in positions for him to make an advance on the top two. But, as we saw last week, anything is possible. Dean Powers in fourth with Jason Lingard, currently in fifth in the championship. Only a point ahead of Rafa Scullion, who himself was only 3 points ahead of Gavin Taylor. Ian Paskin, not far back either. Gunter Deportier inside the top 10 on 282 points. On 279, Fabio Gallimini. That's only 3 points there behind Deportier. Dylan Flanagan only a point ahead of Jake Rose. So lots to play for this evening indeed. We've got a Stuart Brighton on 252 and look at a Corsi on 265. A Corsi, of course, has made waves since joining the series in race number 3. All 3 finishes inside the top 6. And one of them even as far as the podium. Coleman Corkery on 249. Has missed 2 races, but very consistent finishing otherwise. A 7th and 8th and a 4th, bringing him in a phenomenal points tally. And definitely going to be one to watch for this evening. As I said, the drivers are out in qualifying. I'm having some slight issues. For some reason, we're not getting the timing tower. And I'm completely confused as to why. So we might need to do the majority of tonight's race, unfortunately, in this view here. So we can actually keep up to date with everything that is going on. Let me just check if that is working. But yeah, so far in qualifying, it's as you were up at the top. Roberto Ricci so far leading the way. Here is what I'm looking for. Oh, no, he's not, sorry. Jason Lingard goes top of the times. So there we go. He's popped up one at the pit. 1/10 ahead there of Ricci. Cairns currently in third in the pits. I have no idea why that's happened, but we'll just have to crack on. So Dean Powers in fifth. Colin Corkery and Jake Rose 5th and 6th at the moment. Eamon Tully's just put himself in 8th place. Gavin Taylor 9th. Ian Paskin in 10th. Rafa is in 11th place at the moment. Just pulls over. Oh no, that's the Audi that pulled over. There's Rafa in the Porsche, sorry. Stuart Brighton in 12th. Magic Yusuf in 13th. AXN Axon BR in 14th. Trevor McSweeney, Simran Takar and Alex Milchin in 17th, although he's just jumped up to 10th. Yeah, no, you know what, I'm going to have to change that so we can actually see what is going on. Again, apologies for the layout. I have little to no idea as to why the timing tower isn't appearing on the race screen. But yeah, we can at least still use this, so that's fine. 5 minutes still to go of qualifying. Almost 2 minutes left. 1 minute 54s, 55s. Slightly less than that for some of the drivers. Here at the Nurburgring, unaffectionately known by most as the Green Hell. Described that way by Jackie Stewart. How could you argue with Sir Jackie? The modern Grand Prix track remains in absolute full use as an FIA Grade 1 circuit. Full roster of events: DTM, the GT Masters and the Old Timer Grand Prix. Built back in 1927 after the The Mercedes team took a bit of a kicking from Ford at Le Mans. If you haven't seen the film, make sure you do. Very good. We're going to see some cracking laps in here tonight. It's a course that pretty much every race driver on the planet is well accustomed to. I'm still confused as to why that's not shown, but there we go. So Lingard at the moment, Lingard and Ricci, the only two to go sub. Oh no, sorry, Cairns has gone just sub 54 as well, 53.960. Dean Power just on the other side there, 154.042, so not too far behind. And certainly threatening to crack the 53. So too Coleman Corkery. In that BMW still, less than half a second off the pace. No improvement there. That was an outlap. Stuart Breyer in. Oh, looked like he got a bit close to someone there, or somebody got a bit close. There was something going on there. Breyer in was definitely up on his time there as well. He was tracking an extra half a second. No, that says that's working, but still no timing tower. Strange. Very, very strange. Oh well, we'll have to do this the old school way. It's been a while. Let's get that camera there. There we go. Here comes Lingard down through Ad Van Bogen into the NGK chicane. That is the faster flowing of the two chicanes. Of course, the Formula 1 drivers go through a much tighter bend there. Lingard down on this lap. Trevor McSweeney through Ad Van Bogen, so you had a lot of time there. It's just dropped off, but he still has close to a second here actually. This could see him get closer. He is going to need a lot more to improve in position, but certainly an improvement in time there. 3.1 off the pace. Breyer still in the pits with 2 minutes to go. He was definitely aiming for a 13th. Not sure what happened to him on that lap. Evan Cairns looking for pole position. So too Roberto Ricci. They're both green. Coleman Corkery as well, in fact. Although, nope, he's just dropped a bit of time there, actually. Alright, let's get rid of that. Yeah, so it's going to be Evan Cairns that crosses the line first. Himself, Ricci and Lingard all threatening to take pole position. Coleman Corkery's up on his time as well. So too Gavin Taylor putting in a good lap as well. We'll see what happens with Cairns as he crosses the line. Oh, he's a 10th to the good, and he has got past Roberto Ricci, but Ricci is on a fast lap as well. Oh, he's just lost it out with the last corner there. Oh, Lingard. Lingard goes quickest again. 1 minute 35, 1 minute 53.657 to become 2/10 clear of the chasing pack. Cairns and Ricci almost identical times. With a 153.9s and a 153.8. Coleman Corkery is still carrying some time as well. He's just coming through the last chicane, so it won't be long until we'll find his time out around the last corner. And let's see. Oh, let me see if I can turn that up a bit. There we go. Oh, he has improved. He's gone quicker than Dean Power. Up to 4th place then, so almost an identical time to Dean as well. At the moment then, Ricci, let's have a look, where is he? Down in the hairpin. Oh, and that is the tank slapper from hell through the Schumacher S, and that is Ricci's qualifying done. Third place then. It is the best that he could hope for, and he could lose that position if Coleman Corkery can find himself even. All he needs is 3/4 of a tenth of a second. Still just in at the start of his lap, just coming through the Mercedes. Oh no, he's not. He's coming down through the hairpin. That is Gavin Taylor, who's completed his qualifying session that's still out on track. So too Alex Mielchin, who's now up to 10th. Yusuf Breyer and Takar McSweeney, 14th, 15th, 16th and 17th, BR. And 13th, Rafa finishing in 12th position then in qualifying with Ian Paskin in 11th. Alex Mielchin into the pits, he's done with qualifying, so all down. To Coleman Corkery at the moment, he's sitting in 4th with less than a 10th to 3rd spot, and in fact, less than a 10th, just less than a 10th to 2nd spot. He's coming towards the final chicane now. Needs a good one here. Nothing on the timing deltas at the moment. It popped red, it popped green, it popped red. No improvement then for Coleman Corkery. So he will start in 4th position. And the top spot will go to Jesse Lingard. And I've actually, look at that, Eamon Tully with the fastest middle sector. So the BMW doing well there. Roberto Ricci with the fastest sector 3. But it's Jesse Lingard with the fastest lap time. With a 153.6 takes the top spot. And he's going to start on the front row of the grid, side by side with Evan Cairns. The first time this series, Roberto Ricci hasn't been on the front row of the grid. He'll be joined on row number 2 by Coleman Corkery with Power in 5th on row number 3, side by side with Tully. O'Brien down in 7th position for this one then. The Lambo seemingly not enjoying the Nurburgring this evening. Rose is in 8th with Taylor in 9th, and Mielchin rounding out the top 10 in the Aston Martin. Paskin and Scullion on row number 6. Row 7, it's Brrr and McSweeney. Takar and Brierton are on row number 8 and 15th and 16th position. And Majid Yusuf will start on row number 9 in 17th place. It is a sprint race. Hopefully we do have the correct telemetry tower. During the start of the race, the drivers will just be finalising their fuel. It is, of course, a sprint race, 30 minutes from lights to checkered flag. And the championship very much up for grabs. 4 points of a difference between first and second, 6 points between second and third, scoring wise. Certainly in the standings, a lot closer than that between the drivers up at the top. And for some reason it just closed. Yeah, 105 points for winning, 99 for second, and 94 for third. So a 6 and a 5 point deficit. And in the standings, there's only 3 points separating Ricci and Cairns. Cairns has certainly done what he needed to do in qualifying, qualified ahead of Ricci, but he is behind Lingard. So it's going to be a phenomenal battle between these drivers for the race. It is, of course, the short order start. 30 seconds, the drivers will drop to their wheels. And we'll get the final round underway. 30 seconds there is qualification, clarification. Yeah, we're still not getting a timing tower on the screen, so unfortunately stick with the garage view. The Racing Penguin, one more for the road, indeed. What we would like is a telemetry tower up at the side there. For some reason, it has forsaken us this evening. And now that's not working. Phenomenal. Ah, please, 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 come on. There we go. Is it? Yep, we've got movement on the camera. Excellent. Right, so here we go then. The Coca-Cola curve will be the only thing the drivers have to navigate on the warm-up lap. Then it is the run into turn 1. Many talk about Monza. Let's face it, the Nurburgring turn 1 is an absolute corker. And there is the green light under the way, and it's Jason Lingard who absolutely stammers at the start. Oh no, it was Evan Cairns who stammers at the start. Cairns' Lingard's got an absolute flying start, so too Roberto Ricci, but it's Coleman Corkery almost right round the outside, taking 2 positions from the podium. He's definitely over. Has he got Roberto Ricci? Roberto falls back in the line, but it's the inside line for Coleman Corkery. Is he going to see Ricci lose the position once again? Lap 1, turn 1. Roberto Ricci loses out on positions. Oh, but he's going to come right back outside. Oh, he's going to have the inside line on the exit to the Mercedes arena. Is he going to hold on to this? Oh, an inevitable bit of contact there. The BMW does manage to right itself. Eamon Tully and Dean Power. In fact, Eamon Tully has dropped right down the order with watching all this that's going on up here. Eamon Tully. Oh, okay. Rafa Scullion got caught up in something as well there. Eamon Tully. Oh, 4 wide into the Mercedes arena. That was never going to end well, but it did. The Porsche Rafa Scullion did finally make it through there. Coleman Corkery up positions. Axon BR's up positions as well. Gav Taylor's down. Ian Paskin is down. Magic Yusuf is up positions. Simran Takar, Jake Rose still in 13th. Ian Paskin in 12th. So a decent opening lap. There was a bit of contact there in the opening exchanges of turn number 1. Oh, and again, a bit of contact between the BMW and the Ferrari. The BMW Corkery right out on the curb, and as they head down towards Ad Van Bogen, it's Jason Lingard who still has the lead, and quite the lead he has got as we look over his rear spoilers to come through the Bogen kink. He is being chased by Evan Cairns, who is a bit down the road then. Roberto Ricci sitting in 3rd place at the moment. Coleman Corkery very close to him in 4th. At one point he had 3rd position. Then it's Dean Power and Nigel O'Brien. I thought I saw somebody aiming towards the pits there, but it was O'Brien up to 6th position. BR's up to 7th. Tully 8th. Yeah, Alex Mielchin up into 9th. Rafa Scullion's in 10th. Taylor 11th. Then it's Paskin, Rose, McSweeney, Takar. Oh, McSweeney's down another position. He's been overtaken by Takar and Yusuf. He's right down at the back of the pack. We won't bother with a replay for that because we'll just see if we can keep up with what's actually going on up at the front. I'm going to have to go back into this view so we can actually see a timing tower on screen. Reposition that on the slide. There we go. There we go. So Lingard still leading the way with Cairns. Ricci still in 3rd position. His teammate not joining us for this evening's race. Rafa Scullion taking the fastest lap in the opening exchanges. As we can see, just over Alex Mielchin's rear spoiler. He's had quite the opening, up to 8th place already. McSweeney's just made his way past Yusuf to retake 16th position. Power, Corkery, O'Brien still all right on top of one another. As we can see Scullion having a look at the back of BR there. He's going to be defending from Gavin Taylor, who's got Ian Paskin in the Audi. Extremely close as well. That's going to be a lot of slipstream down the hill. He's given up. He's going to be getting from Gavin Taylor then. Is he going to go side by side into the kink? Oh no, he's going to wait. He's going to save it for into the chicane at the end, perhaps. Rafa Scullion getting really close here as well. This battle definitely. Oh no, sorry, that's Rose. I do apologise. That's Jake Rose in the Porsche that's getting invited back into this battle. Coleman Corkery still very much looking like he wants an invitation back onto that podium. We have seen Ricci lose a position in turn 1, lap 1 in a few of the races, but he doesn't often drop any further back. He's gained this position back. Lingard still showing a clean pair of heels to the rest of the field. In fact, he's opened up a 1 second gap already with Cairns. Almost the same. He's got 8 tenths back to Corkery, to Ricci, who's got Corkery still chasing him. Power, O'Brien and Eamon Tully. There's Mielchin, there's BR. There's Rafa Scullion. And Jake Rose trying to get a move on Ian Paskin. And in fact, I think he has just got a move done there. He has indeed. So the Porsche did manage to get himself in front of the Audi. That'll be confirmed on the telemetry, unless Paskin has taken the position back. But that is definitely Rose ahead of Paskin there, coming through the Mercedes arena. Oh, he has a bit of a wiggle on the exit then, so that's potentially... Oh no, there you go, the telemetry does now confirm Rose is ahead of Paskin, so he did make that move through the Mercedes arena stick. Trevor McSweeney's back down at the back of the field again. So I'm not sure if he's having some tyre issues or got a bit of damage. But he definitely out-qualified Yusuf by a fairly handsome margin. Got 2 track laps. So yeah, you would think he would get that move done. He is back ahead again. So they're trading positions down at the back. Ricci looking to trade positions with Cairns then. To fend off the charge of Coleman Corkery. Exactly a second separate Power, O'Brien and Tully with Scullion. Looking to try and move on BR. Let's have a look on his bonnet cam. And that's just broken for some reason. Oh, that was heavy on the brakes. Slightest bit of a touch there, the Mercedes of Gavin Taylor. And that's clumsy by BR then on the midsection of the Mercedes arena, T-boned into the side of Gavin Taylor. And Jake Rose says thank you very much indeed. He takes that position from Taylor in the Mercedes, and Ian Paskin looks like he's about to try and take that position as well. Jake Rose watching that battle. Ian Paskin has been overtaken just. And the Mercedes opens the corner up, has a bit of a wiggle right on that apex there, and Ian Paskin avoiding action. And it is Simran Takar who's now showing on the delta. Because Axon BR is still showing up with deltas. There we go, that's him dropping down the order now. Into the hairpin. He is indeed in 13th position. Lingard, Cairns and Ricci still as you will. Coleman Corkery, I feel like I'm starting over Ross tonight. Dean Power still hanging on to 5th place. Nigel O'Brien trying to get himself back into podium contention. 3rd in the championship. Definitely needs to bring home as many points as possible to confirm, to maintain that. Although I think he's got too much over a gap. Power and Corkery would both have to finish 3 to 4 positions ahead of him to start thinking about overturning the lead that he's got. There's Eamon Tully through the final chicane. Alex Mielchin following him through. Then it is the 2 Porsches of Scullion and Rose. In fact, if I jump on with Rose, out with the final corner, you can see behind Rose, in fact, there is Gavin Taylor. He's still battling with Ian Paskin. You can see just how close there, and Axon BR in the background. He's closing back in as well after that contact, so I'm off track. Paskin in the Audi, having a look up the inside of turn 1. Later on the brakes, takes the apex. The Mercedes opens the corner up to get as tight as exit as possible into the middle section of the Mercedes arena. But it is Ian in the Audi that's got this one done. Let's just check. Is he having a look back up the inside? No, he's not. Axon BR getting involved. Rafa has been overtaken by Jake Rose by the look of it. The two of them are still going at it. We'll rewind this one in a moment to see how this happened. Into the middle section. Rafa just running a bit wide there. So there is Rafa. Still in 9th place at this point, into the final corner. Much later on the brakes there for Rose. They're both in the same car. It is Scullion at this point. Oh no, maybe it is Scullion that's still ahead actually. Apologies, I think I've read that telemetry wrong. but it did look like Rose was the car in front, unless he gets something done here in turn 1. A big mistake by Scullion to make that little stick, and Scullion gets a phenomenal exit out of turn 1. Throws himself right into that Mercedes arena. Rose still following. Oh, bit of a wiggle there again. Rose thinking about a move the inside. In fact, does go side by side on the exit to the Mercedes arena. Still showing Scullion in 9th place. Rose is still in 10th. This is where we jump back into the replay. All the track width used by both drivers. And it is Scullion that has held on to 9th position then. I definitely misspoke when I looked at the telemetry. Rose is still applying the pressure. Another lap in the books. They're absolutely flying, and that's 5 laps done and dusted. And we have missed Roberto Ricci taking 2nd place. And he's done it comfortably over half a lap ago. As we jump onto the replay, we can see that Cairns already in 3rd position then. So Ricci not only fending off his lap 1 hoodoo and not losing the position, he's managed to take a position out of from the driver that qualified ahead of him. So he's now up into 2nd place, chasing down the BMW. Yeah, let's do that so we can actually see. Oh, but then there's no car sounds? Really? Okay. And now we've completely lost game sound. Okay. We've got some sound back again. Yeah, it's been a temperamental old night for the ACC. Temperamental, to say the least. But yeah, we've got a sound that we've got a battle royale forming up at the front then. Roberto Ricci's wasted absolutely no time whatsoever. He's gotten past Evan Cairns and he's gotten right on at the back of Lingard, who at one point had a 1 second gap over the rest of the field. Now 12 minutes into the race, that is very much no longer the case. Oh, into turn 1, look how close Raggioli manages to get there once again. Feathering the engine beautifully there through the Mercedes arena. There is Cairns and Corkery in the background. Certainly not letting go of this fight at the moment. O'Brien is trying to close in on Dean Power still. He really needs to take that position as well just to confirm 3rd in the championship. Cairns still chasing Ricci. Ricci still very much chasing. You can see just how close the Ferrari is getting in the background. And he's going to take the inside line into the hairpin. Where is the other Ferrari? Oh, and he goes to open up the corner. Looks for the cutback on exit. There was definitely room there. Did he lift ever so slightly to avoid the contact? Almost contact on the exit. They're coming up towards the Schumacher S, and Ricci, I don't know what he was thinking there. At first glance, you would have to say somebody needs to put his radar on. That did not look the cleverest of defensive moves. Ooh, and it looks like the BMW might have turned in. There wasn't really much place the Ferrari could go on the turn in there. So a couple of contacts in a couple of corners, and it's seen Evan Cairns now down 3 positions. It's Eamon Tully that he's just ahead of then, so he's now in 6th position and behind Nigel O'Brien. Another few positions for O'Brien, and this certainly makes 2nd in the championship very interesting indeed. Jason Lingard still leading the way then, and it is Coleman Corkery who's now bringing the fight to Roberto Ricci. All the action so far for Ricci into turn number 1. The BMW heavy on the brakes again, opens up that corner, trying for a tighter exit right under the rear spoiler on the way into Mercedes Arena once again. Both drivers out on the green AstroTurf, no doubt. Indeed they are, using every millimetre they can, although Corkery completely misses that apex, and you can see the gap opening up, although he does get the exit apex. Not enough though. As we can see, the Ferrari much smoother through that corner complex, and that is what has maintained that gap there. Jason Lingard's brake lights flashing just in the distance there as Dean Power closes in as well. He's got Nigel O'Brien, as we can see, just behind him, and he's got Evan Cairns hunting him down now as well. Eamon Tully still 7th, Alex Mielchin is still in 8th, with Jake Rose in 9th place. Rafa Scullion in 10th, and he is now defending from what looks like Ian Paskin. So where has Gavin Taylor gone? Oh, he's got the overtake done there. So yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Rafa then. Let's have a look into turn number 1. Rafa seems to be running perfectly well. Has a good entry into turn number 1. You can see the battle going on behind him between Paskin and Taylor. Scullion still running fine at this point. Gets in nicely over to the right, over the curb. Everything. Oh, and the back end stepped out, and he's done well to keep that one out with the wall there. Did not panic, was very smooth off and on the accelerator again, but that certainly robbed him of momentum out of the Mercedes arena, and it's put the Mercedes, oh, and he's run wide again in the back of the car, and he's done amazingly well to avoid contact with the Mercedes. And Ian Paskin almost jumping in the back seat of the Porsche, but he has avoided that as well. So the back end of the Porsche letting go ever so slightly there for Rafa on consecutive corners, and it's seen him lose at one position, and it could be another one at turn number 1 as Ian Paskin in the Audi completely outguns the Porsche in a straight line. Later on, the brakes on the apex, the Porsche opening the corner up, of course, looking for that tighter apex, looking for the tighter exit, looking for a bit of a cutback, potentially not to be though. The Audi holds on to 10th position. Rafa now in 11th. I don't know what's just happened there, but that's just moved. We've got Gavin Taylor into the pits. Magic Youssef no longer in the race. Axon BR out as well. Gav Taylor in the pits. So I wonder if that was damage inspired. Ian Paskin is now ahead of Rafa Scullion. That will update on the board momentarily. Jason Lingard has stretched that gap back out. He's back to 1.3 seconds. So he is certainly on a charge to try and separate himself from Ricci. You can see Ricci with a bit of breathing space now with Corkery, who's got Dean Power applying the pressure to him as they come up towards... Oh no, it's down towards Ad Van Bogen, sorry. So they're almost at the end of yet another lap. 8 laps in. This is 18 minutes we've been going for. Taylor is going to get lapped by all these drivers. Hopefully he's only going to get some damage repaired. Brian does seem to be having some connection issues. Hopefully he's okay out on track. Got McSweeney just ahead of him. McSweeney up from 17th then. Or back up from 17th certainly. Oh, good exit from the Coca-Cola curve there from Rafa Scullion. He's going to put Paskin under all kinds of pressure into turn number 1. Or is he? Decides against the overtake and just follows the Audi through. Biding his time. Although in the Porsche, fairly famous for not being so great in a straight line. So yeah, could well struggle to keep up with the Audi. Brighton chasing down his teammate in the McLaren. But up at the front, they're all doing exactly what they needed to do. Jason Lingard looking for a race win here. He was hotly tipped last week to do quite well, given the track and car combination, and he certainly brought home a more than favourable result, if my memory serves. Yeah, third he got. So he did get on the podium last week, which was his best result. Back-to-back sixth, round 2 and 3. But he's had Yeah, 24th and 20th as well in the series. So certainly the highs and lows of sim racing encapsulated with one driver over one season, and it is Lingard, but it does look for all the world like he is running towards a race win in this one. I've still got plenty of running to do here though at the Nurburgring. O'Brien trying to catch back up to Cairns. These two second and third in the championship as Cairns is ahead of O'Brien. O'Brien would need to get ahead of him again and make up a couple of places as well. Rafa Scullion still hanging on at the back of Ian Paskin then. Doing well in that slipstream. As I mentioned, the Porsche not the greatest at the top end speeds, and you'll certainly reach those coming out with Advan Bogan, and indeed along the start finish there into turn number 1. Oh, slightly untidy-ish. Although both drivers did seem to take exactly the same line over that curve. So maybe that was the intention. Eamon Tully was very close to O'Brien. The two of them lapping fairly equilibriously on the timing deltas at the moment. The BMW are hunting down that Lamborghini at the moment. Cairns, I think, no longer got the overtake redone there. But certainly Tully looking to improve his position at the expense of O'Brien. Down into the hairpin, there is Mielchin up into 8th place then, with Rose still in 9th. Paskin has got that overtake pretty convincingly done then. The Audi starting to find a bit of breathing space behind the top end. Doing it wonders. It does look like Taylor's race is run, unfortunately. The Mercedes was going really well, but he has retired to the pits. So that's going to be his race done and dusted for the moment. Scullion still within a second, although through that last timing board, that gap does look like it's stretched ever so slightly. And the Porsche definitely getting found out with the top end. No such worries for Lingard in the BMW. The gap now at 1.6 seconds. And we're very much at the end of this race. Only 8 minutes left to go on this one. Let's just go into that view for a bit so we can actually see some of the nice cars. But yeah, no timing board still. But we do know there is Lingard, there is Ricci, and there is Coleman Corkery on the podium. Dean Power in 4th place. Then it's Cairns and O'Brien, 5th and 6th. Tully 7th. Mielchin 8th. Jake Rose in 9th. Ian Paskin in 10th. Rafa is in 11th position. And it's Simran Takar who's in 12th. And we've got Action BR no longer in this. McSweeney is in. Briarton is in. Taylor's in the pits. And Magic Yusuf, no longer in the race, unfortunately. Stuart Briarton and Trevor McSweeney. We can see how close these two are getting then. The Wiz Motorsport pair looking for inter-team bragging rights between the two of them. 13th position up for grabs. 7 minutes left to go. The Ferrari versus the McLaren. Does seem like the Ferrari able to brake just a little bit later into each corner. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be able to get an easy overtake. He's certainly got his work cut out from there. Just like the drivers up at the front, they're completely inseparable still. As we can see, Coleman Corkery still within view. The 2 podium spots ahead of him, but he does have Dean Power behind him, so he really needs to concentrate more on keeping Dean behind at this stage. And then if he does manage to get an improvement in position, yeah, all the better. But certainly doesn't want to do anything outlandish or push too hard with Power being so close, and Evan Cairns indeed being so close as well. O'Brien still being pressured by Tully then for that 6th position. Alex Mielchin still trying to catch up and get involved in that battle as well. Jake Rose still in 9th place. Ian Paskin now up to 10th. Quite comfortably, that gap is now stretched. That is, again, you can see on the top end fast parts of the track, the Porsche definitely getting left behind, especially by the Audi. There's the car in the Bentley. used to be an ACC race, was 95% Bentleys, 5% interesting cars. Not that the Bentley's not interesting, but you get what I mean. Now they are a rare bird. Oh, and it's a battle for the lead of the race as Jason Lingard on the way out of the final, the hairpin there, sorry. So let's see what happened then. So into sector 2, everything seems to be fine. Turn number 5. Down the hill, Ricci, excellent work on the brakes there to close in. I'm not sure if Lingard did indeed make a little mistake there. It's certainly either he made a small mistake or Ricci had a worldie of an exit. You can see into the hairpin, all kinds of pressure. Really has a look up that inside. The BMW holds the outside line, less centrifugal force equals more acceleration, and into the Mercedes the Schumacher S's, I apologise. It is the BMW Lingard that still has the lead of the race, but only just. On board the championship leading Roberto Ricci. Tonight, the first time we've seen him qualify outside the front row of the grid. So he's had some work to do, to say the least. He almost lost the position again into turn number 1, was down in 4th temporarily, now finds himself back up into 2nd and really is letting Lingard know that he is there and he's here, and he is here for the race win if he can. And I'm sure he'll have a point to prove as well, and a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He did qualify in the front row of the grid. Oh, look how close the BMW's got on the exit, and the BMW in front, perhaps not as quick through the Mercedes arena at that time, and the Ferrari's going to come under all kinds of pressure. Coleman Corkery tries to go around outside, he's ended up on the grass, and for some reason the BMW at the front's been really slow there. I don't know what's going on with Lingard. He has had a terrible few corners. Well, when I say terrible, still probably 2 seconds quicker than I am through just those 3 corners. But compared to the other 3 drivers up at the top, not the best run. And again, Ricci in the Ferrari really jamming on those brakes to avoid contact with the rear of the BMW. So Lingard just needs to take himself a big deep breath, keep calm, keep going. Then he's only got 3 minutes 44 seconds left to go. Corkery knows he's only got 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to go to try and improve on this podium position that he's got, and you can see just how racy Ricci is looking. He wants another race win. He's been on the top spot of the podium twice so far, so too Evan Cairns, the only drivers with multiple race wins. The only other driver with a win, in fact, was Nigel O'Brien, and I was looking at the championship table and did not see a stationary car there out the Advan Bogan. I can assure you I would have, yeah, that couldn't have been very nice for the driver. Oh, and again, out of Coca-Cola curve, that BMW Coleman Corkery really does get an exit of the gods there. The Cork Boy Racing Team. Oh, Ricci really taking the inside line. That was all over on the inside line. Oh, and there's a bit of contact. Oh, and the Ferrari spun inside. The BMW's gone outside, and Dean Power has said thank you very much to the battling. I'll let you put the word in there, but it rhymes with bassoon. Plural, of course. We'll go with that, but no, a bit of contact there, and Dean Power has been handed not only 3rd spot in the podium, but if Corkery has been a bit rough on his tyres, it's going to be an interesting 2-lap finale for these 2 drivers. Corkery now 2nd, Power in 3rd, Cairns up to 4th place, O'Brien in 5th, Tully's in 6th, Mielchin in 7th, Rose in 8th, Paskin in 9th, Scullion in 10th place. Where has Roberto Ricci no longer in the race, unfortunately. So that is going to cost him the championship. If he'd have stayed in, he would have been within a position of Cairns. Oh no, he was going to lose it by 3 points. Yeah, that was a very close finish. But either way, Roberto Ricci has backed out of the server before the end, so he won't get any point unless he's been disconnected. Actually, he got disconnected twice last week, so we should maybe reserve judgment until we get an official ruling on that one. But yeah, Lingard certainly now job done as far as he's concerned. He's got a 1.9 second lead over Coleman Corkery. He's got Dean Power gifted that 3rd place. Then could he press on? Is he going to be able to catch up to Corcoran and get the overtake done. They are on the final lap. Confirmation of that there. Eamon Tully still chasing down O'Brien. These two have been absolutely inseparable through the whole race. In fact, the only time they were separated was when Evan Cairns made his way back through the field after some contact. Jason Lingard, he's led from start to finish. Phenomenal drive, and he's taken the fastest lap of the race so far. And behind him, the battle between Corkery and Power could be what helps him seal that victory on the way out with the Mercedes Arena. It's Corkery still being closely followed by Dean Power. Oh, look how close Dean's getting on the brakes here in the Porsche. Down towards the hairpin. This is going to be an interesting situation. The exit to the Schumacher S is going to be even more interesting if the Porsche can hang with him down the straight towards the hairpin. There is Lingard already into the hairpin. Corkery closely followed by the Porsche. The Schumacher S exit, I did think would be very close with these two, but the BMW has got the exit he needed. The Porsche right up on the curb in, and the BMW getting the top end, getting the job done with the top end speed. They're going to have Advan Bogan still to make their way through, and in fact we'll get clear of that screen so it actually looks okay for the finish, because it is Lingard. That's him through Advan Bogan in the BMW. Oh, look at a bit of excess body roll there, but he's managed to keep the car in check, thankfully for him. There is Dean Power still chasing Coleman Corkery. It looks like that is going to be the finishing order for the top three. But Jason Lingard, talk about a seasonal improvement. He's had some close to 24th and 20th he's finished this season. He's had 2-6, a third, and he's just got himself a race win. It's Coleman Corkery who takes second position, and Dean Power on the podium for third place. Evan Cairns is certainly looking good to win the championship with that fourth place. Nigel O'Brien in fifth. Eamon Tully got sixth. Alex Mielchen close in seventh there. Jake Rose about to cross the line to take himself eighth place. It is Ian Paskin in the Audi finishing in ninth, and Rafa Scullion inside the top 10 once again. Rounding out the top 10, in fact, with 10th place. Simran Takar is coming through the Coca-Cola curve in the Bentley, and he's going to get the checkered flag for 11th place. Stuart Brierton is going to get himself 12th position as well. Alexander Biar, McSweeney and Taylor both finishing in the pits, unfortunately. Oh, Lingard's already back in the pits. Everyone's in the pits, so let's see. Brierton cross the line to finish up the race series. And there is the final results. Lingard will take the fastest lap and the points for the race win. Evan Cairns finishes in fourth place, which I believe will be enough. But I will leave that for the organisers, because I've certainly been down this path before where I've inadvertently declared the wrong winner of a series, so we won't do that again, will we? No, we won't. What we will do, though, once we've got the highlights saved, is we will confirm the race results. It was Lingard, Corkery and Power, as we saw on that podium. Two BMWs, the Kaiser will be pleased. Cairns in fourth place, O'Brien, Tully fifth and sixth, Mielchen seventh, Rose in 8th place, Paskin in 9th, and Scullion in 10th position. Takar and Brierton in 11th and 12th. Ricci left the server 2 laps down, so he won't be classified. McSweeney did take the checkered flag 2 laps down, so he will get points for his efforts. Taylor, BR and Youssef out of the race early doors. But there we go then. Wiz Motorsports Super League once again. Living up to its name. Not the highest of turnouts, granted, but still some phenomenal racing on show. Let me just jump over to that and that actually bring up the highlights. I'm not sure if it's been fully announced yet, but keep your eyes on the Discord. There is more race competitions coming from the guys and gals at Wiz Motorsport. Big hats off to Rafa Scullion and the gang, putting together a phenomenal competition. That's not where we want to go. Here's where we want to go. Perfect. Aha. It is working. Perfect. So there we go. Highlights from the race this evening. But what a season it's been. Brands Hatch, Killarney, Mazzano, Watkins Glen, Donington, and the Nurburgring to round it off. And rough calculations would suggest that perhaps one of the Wiz Motorsport drivers has topped the boards. That'll all be announced in Discord. Remember as well, they've got the raffle coming up too, so keep your eye on the Discord to get involved in that as well. And make sure you get onto SimGrid and follow Wiz Motorsport so you can keep up to date with all of their upcoming leagues. And they've got some good ones, which I think has been announced. Yes, it has, because there's already drivers entered. It's the Wiz Motorsport GT Tour. It'll start April the 25th, so get yourself onto SimGrid and make sure you get signed up to take part in that. There is prizes up for grabs. So absolutely worth getting yourself involved. There is the link for that there, so jump on that link and get yourself involved. Raf, cheers very much, but apologies for the timing board. I've no idea why we had no timing tower during the race, but we did the best that we could, so yeah, fingers crossed. But no, I really enjoyed that, mate. It's been a phenomenal season, and yeah, can't wait to get cracked on with the next one. And what I need to do, here we go. But yeah, that is all we have got time for this week. As I keep saying, get onto the Discord, keep up to date with everything that's going on, and I will see you all again, no doubt, very soon, if not before. Definitely the 25th when we start the Wiz Motorsports GT World Tour. So until then, stay safe, have a great rest of your evening. Good night.